trying something new this year. I'm gonna be making a temperature blanket. I have this mind that once an idea is planted, it will disturb me until I execute it and it bears fruit. And this is how the idea of a temperature blanket came about. This idea just popped in my mind sometime last year, and I was really contemplating it. But then thinking about the logistics, I was like, no. But finally, the idea ran me over, and I just decided to execute it. So we started by planning the color gauge, because our temperatures normally are usually just high, don't have the 4 seasons like other people around the world. I needed to create a gauge that will fit as many colors since the temperature doesn't change that much. So my color gauge has 2 degrees per color, and this is my color palette. So let's decide which color gauges get which yarn color. At this point, I also had to decide which stitch I'm gonna use, because the stitch determines the hook size, and I decided to go with the camel stitch with a 2.5mm hook, considering that the rows would have been 365, but I came up with a few hiccups. So let's see the one I started. These are my crafting bags. So with all my planning and excitement, I started the camel stitch blankets. So it looks so lovely, right? But the edges are like, this side looks like I'm adding more stitches, but I'm not. And then this other side looks like I'm reducing stitches, and I'm not. And then it's curling up. I really would have loved this to be a whole blanket. The other side of this, we get another like blanket, so it would have been 2 in 1. But for some reason, something keeps on telling me about this stitch. So I'm going to listen to that reason. But I'm still going to use the camel stitch to make the border, because I love the effect. So let's get back to the drawing board and decide which stitch we'll use. Back to the drawing board we went, and I remember seeing a beautiful linen stitch temperature blanket that Tony from T. Alien Craft made. I decided that my first temperature blanket should be just simple, yet something so unique, and reminded me of these linen stitch blankets that I've making using scrap yarn, and I decided to use the gauge of that blanket to now construct my own temperature blanket. So I'll be using this as my template measurement, and because I'm using a 3.5mm hook, my square will be a bit tiny if I just use 31 rows. So I need to get creative. I've decided to have a center of white, 12 rows to represent the 12 months, so that all the squares start with a standard like white side. Then we do the 30 or 31 or 28 days, and then I will add about 10 or 13 rows, because I want the rows to be 54 so that my square can be at least 18. When you do 18, 18, 18, that will be 54 width. The height will be about 72. That will make the blanket very feasible. So I've said 12, 31, 30 or 28, then 13 more rows, and then that in total will be 54 rows from start to end, and that will give me a square of 18 inches by 18 inches. So I've made the work easier, right? So to increase my chances of success with this project, I want to make things to help me along. To start with, I want to make a DIY notebook to jot down the temperatures, the days, the color of yarn I'm using, and if I've done that day, and tick. I'm going to be using an old calendar, just cut like a 5 by 6 inch and then add paper in, and then that will be my notebook. Then I want to create a small pouch where this notebook will fit, along with the things that I will use, like the crochet hook, stitch markers, scissors, and a bit of tags to indicate which month belongs to which square that I'll be making, so that I don't get confused. So let's do that. I will have to get a pliers to cut the wire. Here we have it. Now just to add the paper. So this is not meant to be perfect, just functional. I'm using paper that has been lying around. I don't have a one-hole puncher, so I decided to use my normal puncher. I just punched 4 holes from this side. I need to secure this side. This side is secured. And then I don't know if I'll leave this here just for decoration or I will cut it. And then, yeah, this is good to go. We can now start writing the data and start ticking off. So 1 down. Now to make a pouch to put all my notions in, and then catch up with the blanket. Good morning. It's D-Day. By D-Day I mean the day we make I was about to say tapestry crochet pouch. This is your cue to go watch my tapestry crochet video, an 8-month long tapestry crochet blanket that I made in patches, then I joined together. So today we're going to do tapestry crochet pouch. This was supposed to be part of the border for the blanket, but I felt like it would be too much, so we're going to use this today. I'm going to extend it just a bit so it can be a bit longer. Then we'll cross stitch here and with the word create. Then the other side of this, which I'm going to crochet today, will be now the 2 feet. It's supposed to be feet, like walking on the sand, but now I will add the feet this side. Then we add the zipper, and then we'll be ready to use the pouch. So let's do this. And as plans go, I have had to change my pouch from this. The zipper is too tiny to this. Though this one had no zip, so I am gonna be using this. It could have been purple, but I have no purple one, so it will be this. At least this one will give me leeway to make the pouch a bit longer. And then we are not going to use that gold and black tapestry that I started. We're gonna start another one with black and purple. At this point, I would highly advocate for you to get yourself your favorite beverage, be it tea, coffee, kombucha, water, and join me as I crochet this piece. So I've gone with the black color still as the main color of the pouch, and then with purple because it's one of my favorite colors, and because it needs to fit this notebook, the width is determined by it. Speaking of temperatures, right now, or rather when I was making this video, the temperatures were almost hitting 30 degrees, and in my own opinion that is so freaking hot, and I just hope it will just cool down, or perhaps we could have a few days where it's rainy. The first panel is done, and I was too excited. I already made a charm for the zip, and I started the handle for the purse. We're doing the second panel, and this one has just a positive quote or word to remind me to keep on going with my project. As I've been crocheting away this tapestry crochet bag, I've been watching a lot of YouTube homesteading videos. It's fascinating seeing people uproot their urban life and going off the grid and just revamping their life whole, and also these people who just live their city life and then go to the rural life, and while at it they are upgrading a dilapidated house. I'm just left just inspired, and sometimes I'm like, going off grid seems like a perfect wholesome life for me. I don't know about you, but for me it seems so. I love this page I read from Keep Going by Austin Kleon, and it has kept me going during this project. And finally the back panel is ready, and yes, we can finish this project. So the next step is just fixing together the front and back panel, and I'm using join as you go method. It made things so much easier, and it knitted the edges naturally by itself. Adding a zipper and lining to a crochet project has become so much sweeter thanks to this method that I learned on Pinterest. Start by sewing a line, right? A backstitch line on the lining that's connecting the zipper to. Then when you're finished, use that seam or is it stitch and crochet it together along with the edge of your pouch. For example, it could be a sweater, it could be a cardigan you're making, but for me I'm using a pouch with single crochet, and it's done. It's that simple. The final part for this crochet bag is a strap to make it easier to carry the bag along. And in all her glory, here she is. We did this, you and I. Yes, we can. Yes, we did. And yes, we can create more. So let's see what it can fit. This is just an example of how it looks like inside. But let me show you what mine is carrying right now. So this is what this beautiful pouch is fitting right now. Definitely my notebook with all the temperatures updated. Hook, my Kindle, an empty tea bag, letter to remind me something glorious. This is my idea book, my DIY idea book. The tags for the months. This is a project I'm doing for Valentine's Day. It has lotion, it has scissors, it has my pens and colored pencils. It has projects that I need to finish, other pens, lobster clasp, stitch markers, and more hooks. So it is large enough to carry quite a number of things, and I feel if I could add a book inside there, it would fit, an actual book, not a notepad. So I feel like this is a success, and I really want to carry it everywhere aside from when I'm doing my temperature blanket. Maybe I could make another one for just going around when I'm traveling with my projects, but that is what it fits. So finally, let us start the first square of the year, January. Remember, we're starting with our 12 rows first. Then we will start charting, or rather crocheting, the different days. This is what a 12 row linen stitch square looks like. You see, this is the border that seduced me. So let me play catch up. Here are the first few temperatures for the days, and it's been fascinating just noting temperatures per day, and I'm like, wow, last year I never was aware about the temperatures, or I was like, today it's hot, tomorrow it's chilly, the following day it's hot, But this year it's like I'm more focused, and I can just see the impact of the temperature on the overall life. So these are the days I have already crocheted. We are the 14-day mark. Ooh, 14 more. Now here is our temperature gauge and the color palette. Then I was just playing catch up on writing the temperatures, so that for the days that I don't crochet something, I can just refer to this book and check what against what. That will make things so much easier. So I'm just playing catch up, right? Oh Lord, I almost forgot that I need to label each square to make things easier. So I was using this clear manila to just write the month. Then I will tag, or rather I will stick it to each square, so that at the end of the year when I'm joining in the blanket, or rather the squares into a blanket, I will know which month is for which month. So here we have the finished January square. And I'm so freaking excited. I'm like, can the year end so that I can finish all the pieces and stitch it together into a blanket? And yet the year started. But I'm so glad that finally I just listened to that idea. And I'm doing my first temperature blanket. Here is the February one. I just need to add the rows. I'll be doing it bi-monthly. That makes it so much easier to keep on progressing with my work rather than doing one a day. One that will be feasible, but I like it to do in a batch. So if you've reached this far, I would love to know, what project are you looking forward to finish this year? This is mine, and I can't wait to talk about your project in the comment section. If you've reached this far, thank you so much for being part of this creative adventure. And if you're new here, bloopers. If you're new here, please consider hitting the subscribe button. And we go along this creative journey where we learn new things with you and I together, because I can't do this without you, right? So until our next video, I hope you keep on capturing your dreams in a stitch the way I've done in this video. And until next Saturday, bye-bye.